has finally made its last stop on its multi-platform tour, landing on the PlayStation 3. Those familiar with the game should know what to expect when it comes to the story, but how did the graphics and gameplay fare in the transition? The story of F.E.A.R remains the same. A rogue commander named Paxton Fettel has gone on a murderous rampage with the help of a battalion of military clones he can communicate with telepathically. You play as a soldier on the first Encounter Assault Recon team, which has been charged with the task of infiltrating and eliminating Fettel. You also have extraordinary reflexes, which basically translates into the ability to slow down time. On top of all this, a mysterious, ghostly little girl enters your thoughts and can apparently strip the flesh off of people's bones. As you play the game, you learn of the link between her, the psychic commander, and you. While solving the mystery of F.E.A.R's plot is definitely interesting, the way in which the story elements unfold is somewhat uninspired.
You have one new message.
Many clues are left on answering machines that you can find throughout the levels.
It seems the Senator's plan failed.
Listening to them, however, is completely optional. Also, you never get a sense of who your character really is. He never speaks and has no real personality, preventing you from investing too much in the story. F.E.A.R's action element is definitely the main reason to play the game. From the variation in the weapons to the excellent enemy AI, the game hangs its hat on the action, which is sufficiently spiced up by the ability to enter slow motion. No one can deny the ultimate satisfaction that comes from entering slow motion, shooting someone with a shotgun, and watching as their body completely evaporates in a cloud of blood and limbs. However, the slow-mo function can also become a bit of a crutch. It doesn't take long for it to recharge, so you can take shelter, let it refill, and then jump back into the fray. In addition, while there are several interesting weapons like the Penetrator, smart players will find themselves deferring to the shotgun, which offers the most satisfying and destructive outcomes. All this results in action that, while fun, eventually becomes repetitive. In addition, the game's frame rate can get a little choppy at times. It's not enough to ruin the game, but it's definitely nowhere near the benchmark that Resistance set. And considering this is the processing beast known as the PlayStation 3, it's really difficult to rationalize. In between the furious shootouts, F.E.A.R takes a breath to either dole out some clues via the aforementioned voicemails, or drop a little mood and creepiness your way. After an hour or two, the scares become predictable. Once things quiet down after a battle, you're pretty much guaranteed to see a shadowy figure whispering something cryptic, crankily knocking over a box, or disappearing altogether. F.E.A.R on the PS3 suffers from much of what marred the original PC version, namely locations that become all too repetitive. And while there's a large amount of detail to be found in every room, it doesn't change the fact that all the offices, storerooms, and loading docks pretty much look the same. Because of this, it's easy to get turned around after a firefight and start heading the wrong way. The horror element of F.E.A.R is definitely a welcome addition to what would otherwise be a meat and potatoes shooter. However, the lack of variety in the scares means you'll never hit those moments that require a second pair of pants. Graphically, the game clearly doesn't fulfill the true potential of the PlayStation 3. Textures are blurry and much of the lighting is unimpressive. As mentioned before, the frame rate will intermittently stutter, and once in a while you'll come across the occasional glitch. Once you've completed the single-player quest that will take the average player 10 hours or so, there are some multiplayer modes to sift through, but they're nothing especially unique or compelling. It's been a year and a half since F.E.A.R originally hit the PC, so it's a little hard for a second console version to really stir up excitement without some major upgrades. The truth is, the PlayStation 3 version is a downgrade in many respects. Game-starved PS3 owners should at least give it a rent, but it's hard to recommend as a purchase when there are games like Resistance already on the market.
Shit, I lost them again. Fuck!